to Mr. Cap's Digital Media Class tutorials. In this particular tutorial, you're going to learn how to import video into PowerDirector and create titles. That's actually part of our project that we're going to do. You should have already watched Let's Get Started video, and now you're ready for the next video, and that's this one. We are in Communication Arts, and this is the next video in line with that. Go ahead and open up PowerDirector now. And PowerDirector, when it's opened up, should look like this after you've removed those pictures that come into the library automatically. What I want you to do is go up here to the folder, Import Media Files, and find your files for your camera angles that you took a few days previous. When you find those files, simply highlight them and click Open, and they'll come in. I've already done that in this one here. And then once you've got the video inside the library, you can take and drag it down to the timeline. And once you've done that, now I've already done that for this one here, I've drug it down to the timeline, and I've already begun to split it up into different camera angles. And by doing so, I'm ready to now take this video and cut it up and put it into sequential order. And it all comes back to this particular lesson that we did, and that we actually found that part in the very first link. Take a look at this again. What you're trying to do is you're trying to complete this particular lesson. This is going to be our filmmaking techniques project, and you're going to be asked to watch this video and then break up into groups to take video of different camera angles, and then you can use PowerDirector to cut up and splice together the different angles and different shots that you need. Here's a list of all the different camera angles and shots that you're going to need, and what I've done is at the very bottom here, I've actually taken this video and split it up to where I want to have each one of these as a different 3 to 5 second slide of different camera angles. For example, this one right here where it talks about title, this is going to be that one, and it's going to be a selfie. You're going to do a selfie right here, and it's going to be called camera angles. You can put your different titles in there, and then the second 3 to 5 second slide is going to be your first and last name right here while you're doing a selfie. The third one is going to be this different camera shots. I just want a black screen, and then I want this word right here spelled out as a title, camera shots. The fourth one right here you're going to be doing is called establishing. You're going to take a real long wide shot, and you're going to put the title of establishing. And then you're going to start your different camera angle shots. The first one here is the long shot, where you're going to take and get a person sitting on a bench, for example, like this one here, to where you can actually see his feet and his head, and you've got a long shot. This is a full shot, and etc., etc. And you're going to do all of these different camera angles, and you're going to break them up and put them in PowerDirector and title them. And then for your very last slide, I want you to put down some kind of a closing, the end slide to kind of finish it all off. So now let's go back to that video, and let's take a look at that video of the different camera angles and filmmaking techniques. This is the first one. This is the selfie. You can actually call it camera angles. You can have the selfie. You don't have to be spinning around there like he was, but you can just have the different camera angles. There's your first and last name. You can just do that. Just do a selfie with your first and last name. And then the next screen is going to be a black screen with the word camera shots. 3 to 5 seconds there. Then the next one, establishing. Now you can find this video right here just like I clicked on it. That video link actually works. Or it's right here in the filmmaking techniques. It's that Friday, the first week of school. And if you'll click right there, you'll actually find that video, that same video, YouTube video. And so then what we're doing this week then of school is we're actually watching the Let's Get Started video, and then I'm asking you to watch this importing video into PowerDirector and creating titles video, which is right here. And so as you're watching this particular video, you should be able to learn the different ways to import video into PowerDirector and then create titles for each one. And so let's go ahead and do that now. Let's go back to PowerDirector, and you can actually see I have imported my video, and I've drug it down to the timeline right here, and I've begun to cut it up into different shots, camera angle shots. And now I need to arrange them in such a way that we've got the right shots. This first one right here is what I'm going to call a full shot, but I actually have to do a couple other things. I have to get a selfie, and I have to create the opening title. Okay, now one of the things that I'm going to ask you to do for the very first slide, very first 3 to 5 second slide here, is to actually create a title or a selfie right there at the very beginning, titling this whole thing Camera Angles. So you go here to Title Room, F7, and you click on that, and this is going to actually teach you how to create a title. I've got several that are already pre-made, and so I usually use this one. I'm going to drag this down to the second video track, and I'm going to put it down right there. Anything that you put underneath this top line comes up first. So if you put this particular video down here in front of the top video, this one here is going to show up and not this one. So you have to remember that anything you put below the top line is actually going to show up first. Since this is translucent, you're actually going to be able to see the video behind it. So let's take a look at that. And I actually have another video inside my library here of another little video. I'm just going to put it right here just so I can kind of edit it. And I'm going to use this picture as the selfie. And I'm just going to go about 5 seconds. And let me just back up just a little bit. If you'll look at this particular button right here, this is a frame by frame button. And this will take you frame by frame backwards or frame by frame forwards right here. So let's take a look at this. That's all I want of that particular video. So I'm going to go over here to split. And you split that video. Now this video has to be highlighted. It has to be highlighted blue. And then I'm going to remove this from the library. And this is actually all I'm going to use of this particular one. And I don't want any music right now. This actually had some voiceover right here. So I'm going to right click on it. And I'm going to unlink video and audio. When you unlink video and audio, click on that, and it actually does that. Both of these are now separate audio and video part in the very first track there. So click on the audio, and let's just remove that. Let's get rid of that so it's not in our way, and we're not hearing it as we do. And you'll notice that, take a look at this. Here's my title. It's in white, but it doesn't look very good. So I think I'm going to make the title black, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, and I might even make it off to the side over in this gray section. So let's go ahead and click on the title. You have to highlight it, and then go to Modify. And you're going to modify this template. And what you want to do is highlight this particular title, and we're going to type in the word Camera Angles. That's actually going to be the title of this particular little section. This is going to be called Camera Angles. The font's a little big for what I want. I'm just going to go down to 26. And if you mouse over to where you get the double crossbar, you can get it right there. And now we've got Camera Angles. And go ahead and click Save. And now we've got Camera Angles right there where we want it. That's the title. And so that's going to go for 5 minutes. Notice that this is a little bit bigger than this one here is. So let's go ahead and look at that. Let's go ahead and go all the way to the end, and then we're going to take Camera Angles off of that one. Stop it right there, and just mouse over this particular title right here and drag it back to where the other one lines up. It kind of snaps right to it, and click it right there. And now you've got the very first picture. It's a selfie like I wanted, with the title Camera Angles right there, and that's the very first title. Then the next one I want you to do is also do one with another part of a selfie with your first and last name on there. So let's go ahead and do that. That's still the exact frame right there. And then I'm going to split this and remove it. And here is my next video. Okay, now I want this to be just a little bit longer, so I'm going to copy and paste that little bit right there, and now it made 2 of those. And so that's probably long enough. That's about 5 seconds long. You want each one to be about 5 seconds long. I want to take this particular title and I want to duplicate it. So I go Control C and Control V, and it duplicates that title right next to it. Now that's the one that I actually want to change. So I'm going to go right click on it and edit title, and I'm going to change this one here to by Mr. Cap. And then I'm going to save that one right there, because that one's going to look like the very first one says camera angles, the second one says by Mr. Cap. And by the way, if you want to make this just a little bit bigger so these aren't so small, do you notice how I'm on my timeline right here, and it actually gives a second by second, minute by minute log of what videos where. And right there it's got a little blue dot with an arrow each way. If you left click and hold that down right there, you can actually drag this timeline and make everything bigger. That it's actually bigger, and now you can actually see what we're doing here. And I want my title to be as long as my video, so I just stretch it out right there. And so I'm going to click on it right there, and I'm going to try and get my video to be full screen, and I just adjust it just like this. And you see how I kind of adjust it and make it all the way to the screen there. Still got my title down there. Let me just kind of raise it up a little bit. It's a little too far because I saw some black. And let's do that. Let's do that to this one here. Drag it down. Stretch it out. Drag it this way. Bring it down just a little bit. And now they're both good. Now my title's just very at the bottom. The P's getting cut off. So I'm going to change that just a little bit. And so I'm going to modify that and raise up this title just a little bit, so it's not being cut off. And now you've got two of them done. You've got the very first one done, the name of the project, who created the project, and now your next one is your very next shot. And you're actually going to have to title this shot. So go back up here to the title room, and in the title room right here, you're going to drag down another title. And this particular title we want to be about 5 seconds long, so we're going to kind of keep it about that size right there. And then this title right here is actually going to be the very first one. Let's go back up and see now, and just refer back to this each time. You've got your title, selfie in the title, selfie in your name, and now the next one, camera shots. So let's do that one right there, camera shots. So let's make a title that just has that in all black. And this is the way we do that. We go back up into our title room, and I drug down the one that had all black Mr. Cap's videos for the classroom. And so I want to modify this one. So let's modify this one. We're going to call this one camera shots. And then I want this to be right in the center. The size is okay right there, and so I'm going to save it. And now this one here is camera shots. It's all black. We can go ahead and slide this one in here. And notice that when I slide it in here, black line comes, real skinny thread of a line comes. That means that you snap to the very, very end of it. And that's where you want to be. So now we've got camera angles. We've got about, let's go ahead and just play this. Now it goes into camera angles and camera shots. And then after camera shots, I'm going to kind of shorten this down a little bit because it gets kind of boring going into watching 5 full seconds of just camera shots. And then your next one right here is going to be your full shot. And so I'm going to go just one more slide with you and show you how to do this. It's the same way that you've done the other slides before it. This is called a full shot. And so we'll run this one here for about 5 seconds and stop it. And I'm going to go ahead and just come all the way to the edge, and you can see the 2 arrows. You slide that in to where it's about 5 seconds right there and stop it. And that's about 5 seconds. And then you're going to add a title to it. Well, let's use this title right here that we had. And all we do is copy it. And I always, whenever I'm going to paste something in another line, I always come up here and lock the top one, because otherwise it'll split it and put it inside. So I locked the very first shot, and then I paste another one. I'm going to drag this over to where it kind of lines up to where the other one is. And this one here I've got to modify, and this one's going to say full shots. So unlock the top one. Let's modify that title. This one here is going to say full shot. I don't like the way it is. I'm going to kind of put it right. Well, let's put it right here on the gray. I don't like the fact that it's purple. You can hardly see it. So I'm going to go ahead and bold it, and I'm going to change it to black. And I'm going to hit OK. And that's a full shot. I actually like the size. I could go a little bit bigger on the size. It's 24. Let's go to 36. And that's a full shot, and click Save. And now you're ready to do the rest of them. And just look back on this particular link. You got the camera shots, long shot, full shot. Put those in there. You can put one in that's establishing, put one in that's a real long shot, and then a full shot and mid shot. And as you do that, now this is going to take a little bit of time, and as you do that, you're going to have several slides, and you'll be able to just copy and paste these different slides and kind of just make them translucent just the way they are, and it'll work just fine. And I'm just going to kind of put my cursor right here where I'm highlighting the minutes and seconds here, and I'm going to drag it closed a little bit just so you can kind of see the whole thing. And so this is about what it's going to look like. You're going to have lots of different camera shots right here, and then you're going to have lots of titles. And in the next tutorial, what I'm going to do is we're actually going to add music to this, and we're going to put in transitions. So make sure that you're always saving. Just always go to Control S, Shift, and save it, and it'll bring up a save as. Save it to your desktop. Camera angles, and save it, and that's going to save the PowerDirector script, and it's going to save it right there, and you save it every time. In fact, just every 5, 6, 7 minutes or so, hit Control S. Once you've saved it the first time, hit Control S, and you'll be able to save your PowerDirector each time after each class, and that way you'll never lose your project. Sometimes power goes out, sometimes there's a fire alarm, sometimes different things happen, and you don't want to lose your work that you've worked so hard for during the day. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed it on how to do that. Let's work on that. If you have any questions, just give me a shout.